everybody. Welcome to Embracing Wisdom with Stacy. That's me. Here on this podcast, we talk about all things wellness. We talk about mindset. We talk about goodness. We talk about cultivating joy in our life. We talk about all the things, how to make lemonade out of lemons related to your life. Today, I want to talk about strength. I want to talk about how, in my personal life, strength has been one of the greatest tools that has carried me through my entire life, but specifically my adult life, and how I've leaned into the opposite of strength in the last year, and how I've seen strength show up as a barrier to love, as a barrier to joy. So, we're going to dive into strength today, but I want to start with a story about strength. And this goes back about absolutely love. I love volunteering in hospice. My job in hospice is to rub people's feet as they are transitioning and bring comfort to them. So it's something that I love greatly, and I just absolutely love doing it. And I was working on a unit at the hospital, and I prefer that setting. I'm not great going into people's homes. Some people are, but that's just not for me. I like the clinical setting. So I knock on doors. Hey, I'm Stacy. I'm here to rub your feet. Would you like that? Most people say yes. A lot of people say no, but it's good. A lot of times, family will say, "Oh, he would love that." And so I make my way through the unit on the floor in the hospital, and I get to the last room that I'm there to see, and my shift is about over. I have one more room to hit, and so I knock on the door, and I go into the room, and this beautiful woman is sitting in the middle of her bed, sitting cross-legged in a meditation position. And I softly sort of knock, and there's a person in the room, and I say, should I come back? Should I wait? And and so the lady in the bed kept her eyes closed. She was sitting so peacefully and beautifully. And she says, "No, no, come in, come in." And so I said, "I'm here to rub your feet or your hands or both. Would you like that?" She just reached her hand out, eyes stayed closed. So she reached her hand out, and so I started to massage her hands, and I use aromatherapy, and I'm just sort of doing my thing. No, no talking. Her eyes are closed. I'm just massaging her hands. And I look down at her hospital ID bracelet, and I see that her birthday is the same as mine. Different year, but same day. And I said, "Oh, we share a birthday." And she kept her eyes closed, and she says, "Of course we do." And I'm thinking, this is so bizarre. This is so good. This is right up my alley. And she continued to keep her eyes closed. And she said, "We're strong. We're earth dwellers. We're Capricorns. We're goats. We do our own thing. We're stubborn. We're hard-headed. We create our reality. We go after our dreams. We work a lot, and we strive for perfection." And I'm just rubbing her hands like, this is crazy. And so I asked her if she'd like me to rub her feet. So she uncrossed her legs. She kept her eyes closed, started rubbing her feet. And she says, sometimes we need to let water wash over us. Sometimes, as earth dwellers, we need to have the softness of water come into our lives and remind us that we don't have to be so strong. We don't have to be um, just so determined all the time, that we can just let stuff roll off of us. We can wash ourselves of the burdens that we carry. And at this time in my life, I was going through quite a lot. And I was in this power mode of, I got to do it all, and I got to prove to the world I can do it myself, and I don't need anybody. I don't want anybody. I'm just going to go after it myself. And she picked up on that energy. And so she just kept talking to me about strength. And we were about done. Like, I had rubbed her feet as long as I could rub somebody's feet. And so I was getting ready to leave, and I was packing up my oils and washing my hands and doing all that I do. And she said, "Come here a second." And so I went to her bedside, and she grabbed my hand. And for the first time in like the 45-minute session, she opened up her eyes, these icy blue, beautiful eyes. And she looked penetrating at me. Just her eyes were so strong and so alive and so powerful. And she says to me, "Do not let your strength get in the way." And I took a breath. Like, it was just like, I took a breath. And I said, "Could you tell me more?" And she said, "Do not let your strength get in the way. Be strong, but be willing. Be strong, but be willing." And she closed her eyes and she thanked me. I thanked her. I thanked her for the wisdom and the message. And she opened her eyes one more time and she said, "Do not let your strength get in the way." So I thanked her and I went on my way. And what she did not know is right before my hospice shift, I had gotten a tattoo on my body, and I had asked my 2 boys if they could choose one word that described me. What would that word be? Something that they were proud of, something that when they heard the word, they thought of mom. And I asked them both separately, and they both said strength. So that day before my hospice shift, I got the word strength tattooed onto my ribs. She would have not known that. My hospice teacher, my lady, she would not have known that. And yet she knew it. She knew everything. She knew everything. And so I think about her a lot, and I know she's long since passed. She was close when I met with her 9 years ago, but her spirit resonates with me, and I often think about strength through that lens. And for this last year, I've used strength to push me forward every day. I've gotten up out of bed, I've put lipstick on, I've curled my hair, I've gotten dressed every single day. I have not allowed myself to sink back into, I'm just going to lay around and be miserable because my hip has failed, or I'm going to just be miserable and tired and grumpy because they can't figure out what's going on with my hip, or I'm just gonna be miserable because I've never been, I'm going to be miserable because my parents got divorced, because I got divorced, because I was a single mom with a kid with a disability. I've never in my life had language of giving up or not stepping forward or not trying every single day. And I've had a chronic pain diagnosis for 20 years. I've been in pain management for 20 years. I have legitimate reasons to lay in my pajamas and watch TV during the day. And I have never allowed myself to do that. And and so the life that I've created because I'm strong and because I'm determined and because I do it for myself, I've created a beautiful life. And I was thinking about when I was just a young married mom. I wasn't yet a mom, maybe I was. Anyway, I was a mom. I was 19. I was a mom. I was buying my first house. I was married. And I asked my dad if I could borrow $3,000 to put down on my first home, and he said no. And at the time, I was so angry. My dad was so wealthy, and he said no. And then when I got divorced, I didn't get child support, I didn't get alimony, and at the time, I was like, "This is terrible." My dad died. I got 100 bucks. At the time, it was terrible. But in the end, I can look back at my life, and I can look back that I have created my business, my home. I've bought a home. I have excellent credit. I've not ever relied on anybody financially. And that feels really good to me as somebody who has paved a way as an entrepreneur, as a yoga teacher, as an advocate for my daughter. I've done really well because of my strength, because I didn't crumble raising her and advocating for her and making sure she had the best schooling and the best outcomes and the best long-term vision. I'm strong that I can detach from her needs and help her to be the most independent and not enable her and not do things for her. I insist on her doing for herself. To me, that's strength. I've never allowed myself to feel as though my life is miserable because I divorced a couple times and have a child that needs me and whatever. I could list a laundry list of things why I could, in somebody's view, lay around, sit around, mope, eat ice cream, watch TV, and be miserable. That is just not who I am. So strength has carried me. It has gifted me with an amazing life. Now, the flip side of strength is that I often don't get help that I might need because people know I can do it. They just assume I can do it. There's not a reason to step in and help me because I can do it. I've proven I can do it. And so that has brought forth this last year, I do need help. And so I've had to ask for help, which is really hard when you're a strong person. I've had to be vulnerable. I've had to pay somebody to mow my lawn, which is like crazy to me. I love mowing my lawn. It's my pride and joy, but I can't do it. So I have to pay somebody to do it. And I've had to receive help. I've had to receive financial help. I've had to receive food. And people want to serve me. People want to give to me. People want to do for me. And the hard part when you're driven by strength is to let people in and to let people do for you. And so this last year, I've really worked hard at saying yes. Can I bring you a meal? Yes. I've never in my life had or wanted or needed somebody to bring me a meal. Can I do something for you? Yes. Can I come hang out with you? Yes. I've learned to say yes. So I've used my strength in phenomenal ways. And I've also used strength to soften me and to buffer off some of those hard edges. And I've allowed the teachings of the hospice lady to allow the water to wash over me, to bring to me, to cleanse me, to comfort me, to flow with me. And so I feel like I've done a great job. And I feel like strength is a powerful, powerful entity in me. And I will not let my strength ever go away. It's what fuels me, it's what drives me, it's what gets me up every single day to keep doing the work that I'm doing, to keep serving others, to keep being who I am. And I'm never going to let that go. But I'm also going to soften it and buffer out the edges and allow. So, strength, yes. Allowing, yes. So, that's my story about strength. And you just never know who the greatest teachers in your world might be. It might just be those who you least expect it to give you a very wise message. And my message came from my hospice lady who taught me about strength. And I think about her every day. So that's my story on strength. Have a great day, and I will chat with you soon.